Hello, this is a little bit of a different episode today. If you know me, or if you've listened to any of these episodes, or if you've watched any of my content on YouTube or on socials, you know that I am not a person to ruffle feathers. I am not someone who gets up and rants and divides people. Some people say I should be a little bit more disagreeable and a little bit more passionate, but I'm a bit of a safe person all around. Anyway, today that changed because I've had something on my heart for a little while. It's stuff that I talk about, but maybe not in this exact way. And I don't share it like this very often, if ever at all. I've just had conversations with people, with parents I've coached, in some of my consulting work at schools, sharing with teachers. And I'm like, you know what? I think we need to set the record straight on a few things. So I'm a little bit fired up. Enjoy. /I apologize. But this is kind of my space, and I'm lucky to have a place somewhere online where, I'm very grateful that you guys will put me in your earbuds and listen along and hopefully take something away from it. So this is a little bit of a rant. It's only about 10 minutes. So I think the whole episode is going to be 15 minutes long. It's a short one this week. But, I actually think you're going to take away a few gold nuggets. You're going to have some good reminders. It's a good reminder for me. Some of these things, I write about this stuff. I wrote a book, From Chaos to Connection. I'm publishing content all the time, and I have 2 kids and I'm in a family and I'm still learning this stuff. So we'll touch on, levels of perfection and whether or not we need to be perfectly emotionally cool, calm, collected all the time. So I hope you enjoy my rant. Before we begin, as usual, I like to acknowledge the Darug Nation. They are the traditional custodians of the land on which I live, work, and record this podcast. I pay my respects to all First Nations people, their elders, and their ancestors, and I acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded, and I stand in solidarity towards a shared future. Okay, here we go. I have been thinking a lot about how we're teaching our kids emotional intelligence, and I have to say, I think we might be missing the mark a lot of the time. We tell kids to use their words when they're upset, but do we always model that ourselves? When we're frustrated, do we take a breath and communicate calmly, or do we sigh, snap, or shut down? Do we expect our kids to calm down when they're angry? But let's be honest, how easy is it for us to regulate our emotions, especially after a long, stressful day? And then there's the idea that emotional intelligence just means being nice or controlling emotions, but that's not it at all. It's about recognizing our emotions, expressing them in healthy ways, and using them to build strong connections or to solve problems. All emotions are valid. It's what we do with them that matters. But often without meaning to, we're sending mixed messages. We might tell our kids to stop crying or calm down or be good, when really they need help working through what they're feeling. And then we wonder why they struggle with big emotions or shut down instead of opening up to us. At least the good news is that we don't need to be perfect. We can be intentional. Instead of focusing on controlling kids' emotions, we can focus on guiding them. Instead of expecting them to figure it out all on their own, we can show them how. Because emotional intelligence isn't just something we tell our kids about, it's something they learn from watching us. So maybe the real question is, how do we want to show up for our kids in those tricky moments? Do we want to be the safe space they turn to, or the reason they hide their feelings? No shame, no guilt, just something to reflect on. Something else I think a lot of us have got wrong, me included, is that being emotionally intelligent means that we have to be a cool, calm, collected robot 100% of the time. If your kids are drawing on the walls or throwing their homework book at you, well, then you just have to respond calmly and nicely and ask them, please don't do that, honey. Oh my goodness. I think we need to allow ourselves to be human. To be emotionally intelligent just means we are working towards being smarter with our emotions and the behavior that comes with it. We have to work towards showing up in a way that we would like to see our kids show up, in the future. It doesn't mean that we have to, take any behavior that is thrown at us. Absolutely, we need to have boundaries, and we can tell our kids when something they're doing or saying is not okay. Yes, we want to create a world of emotionally intelligent, resilient, healthy people in the future. We do need to prepare our kids for the real world. But by the way, they're already in the real world now. The real world has people now who do not know how to handle their own emotions. And reminder, I was one of those and still am sometimes. The real world is not this place where everyone goes about their day calmly, nicely, and is successful and is driven and gets everything they need done and meets all their expectations. That is not the real world. We have a world around us and that we are a part of that has humans who kind of mess up sometimes. They kind of say and do things that they wish they didn't. They need to repair. We need to, fix our mistakes. This is what it means to be human. So when I talk about emotional intelligence and being human, like these two things are two sides of the same coin. Please don't think you need to have it all together all the time, especially as a parent or as a teacher or an educator. You don't. Think of the beauty that comes with those messy, stressful moments when you do have the opportunity to later repair and model to your kids what an apology looks like, or model to them how to acknowledge that you did or said the wrong thing or that you hurt someone's feelings and that now you're taking the opportunity to make it up to them and to make amends. So maybe to sum up my rant, I can kind of circle back to the start. Let's not hold our kids to a higher standard than we ourselves can actually achieve. If you're teaching your kids to manage their emotions and to when they make mistakes, repair and apologize and communicate clearly, like we've got to be showing up to do that as best as possible ourselves. Don't have this expectation for them that they need to apologize every single time they hurt someone, that they need to say it straight away without hesitation, or that they need to calmly and politely ask, their sibling not to keep poking and prodding them and hurting them with no level of emotion. We have to allow our kids, we have to allow ourselves to be human and to experience all of the emotions. Yes, they are messy. Yes, they can be really uncomfortable. Yes, they can be super unpleasant to feel and to learn to sit in. But oh my goodness, what comes with them is so much wisdom about ourselves, our inner experience, our relationships, like where there are areas of growth that we may have. I mean, we all have them, let's be honest. I think what we need to just shift our focus on is not that our kids will meet the expectation 100% of the time, that they'll be polite and that they will share and take turns or get their homework done or whatever that expectation is. I think we need to let some of those things go. Allow our kids to be human, allow them to mess up, allow them to be messy and to crumble or to melt down, allow them to be loud and a little bit reckless and make poor decisions. Let's face it, that's the way their brain is wired for many, many decades. So can we just almost surrender to what is? Our kids and us, we have emotions. They can be difficult, but if we're working towards becoming more emotionally intelligent, we are allowing the emotions to flow. Yes, we hold boundaries, but we're allowing our kids to not be okay and to sometimes be, to stress us out, and then for us to connect back at some point later, continue and build that relationship and those bonds and just nurture our connection. I don't want us to set our kids up for failure. I don't want us in homes or in classrooms to set our kids up for this idea of perfection that they have to, tick all the boxes all the time. I don't think anyone can reach that level of perfectionism. It's just not attainable. It's not healthy. And if we do try to model that to our kids, then we're showing them, modeling that, mom or dad or my teacher have it all together all the time. If I don't, there's something wrong with me. I'm bad. I'm weak, I'm soft, and I'm not okay just to be me. I realized this was a giant rant. I kind of came on here just with something on my heart, as you guys could probably tell. It's messy. It's not really well thought out. I hope something landed from this, and I know you'll at least take one or two things away. I would love it if you share this episode, this tiny conversation with someone that you love or someone that you know who you think, maybe they'll get something out of it. Maybe this is something that they need to hear and is going to uplift them or inspire them and remind them they're doing a bloody awesome job in their parenting, in their classroom, whoever they are, whoever you are listening to this, please know, even on those days where you think, oh my God, I should just get in my car and drive away, I promise you, you are doing a better job than you think, and your kids think the absolute world of you. And come back to that knowing you and your family or the kids in your classroom, you are giving so much to them. Please don't aim for that perfection. Please just work a little bit every day at becoming a little bit more aware, a little bit more emotionally intelligent, a little bit more resilient, and modeling this to the other people in your lives. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.